Hallo und herzlich willkommen. Es ist wieder Mittwochabend, Wednesday night in Tyrol. Today it's not too hot in the sauna. It's a freezy day. Freezy? No, it's cold, chilly.
Freezy day.
No, it's
No,
not
it's not
freezy. It's kind of nice actually because it's not that hot.
No.
First day in a while
no gloomy.
that it's maybe around 20 degrees and not 30. Welcome to the show. It's the Liggins show part 2. Welcome again. Nice to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
And again, we don't have a lot of time because it's again a defensive back meeting a little bit earlier today. So we will have a little bit more than last week, but not that much. First question of the day: how you guys feeling, Jay? How you feeling after this away game in Frankfurt? How was your body? How was your day?
Day's going well. Relaxing, like you said, not too warm. Body feels good, a little sore, but at this point in the season, we all are. And game didn't ideally go as hoped, but we were able to give ourselves a fighting chance for playoffs, which is ultimately the goal. You know, we want to be champions, so that was nice. A very tough team, a lot to get back to the drawing board in the sense on because we're in playoffs now. We're in playoffs going into Frankfurt. We knew that, and they gave us a playoff game, and so now we need to know what to expect from everyone else because they're a very talented team, and we came up short, but we fought really hard at the end, and it shows that we are a talented team when we do what's necessary, and we did that second half. But you can't come out slow like that against good teams. So
we will talk about the game against Frankfurt later a little bit more into detail. Sean, how is your feeling? How are you? How are you mentally after being satisfied after a loss, which is really weird. It's kind of strange in the head.
Yeah, it was a satisfying feeling to be able to do what we did in the fourth quarter, and maybe like Jay was saying, we lost our short-term goal, which was to win the football game, right? We didn't go in saying, "Hey, we have 6 points, let's use them," right? And we obviously wanted to play much better than we did, but the larger goal is still very much intact, and we control our own destiny, which is more than a lot of teams can say at this point in the season. So, yeah, it's kind of an odd dynamic. In one hand, we were able to accomplish a larger goal, but still a lot of room for improvement.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, so it's kind of a bit of an odd dynamic. I mean, even kneeling the ball to secede a loss was very, very strange. But
never saw that before.
yeah,
I've never seen a 2-minute drill by a team winning.
Yeah.
I mean,
you mean with the interception?
Yeah, I mean they were trying to actively score,
of course,
because they needed to. Because so it's not really, the league's not really set up like in a traditional American Football League in that regard. When you start talking about point differentials and stuff, that's very much soccer, and that what leads to this odd circumstance. But I think we did the right thing, and we have everything. Our larger goals and tasks and very much controllable. It's our fate is up to us. So that's a good feeling. But yeah, like Jay said, I wish we would have came out and played better football from the start. That's what it's going to take to beat every game we play, every team we play from here on out. It's going to be a really good football team. So a lot of work to be done.
Absolutely. Yeah, nice intro from you both guys. A lot about the last game and less about your personal feeling, but I think it guides us right into the review of the last game. And I think we do this all three together, and then we might talk a little bit about your time, your football career. We stopped last week at the moment when you were on college, did both sports. We talked about being
We didn't get to Google Maps.
We didn't get to Google Maps. At 28.
Oh, so we have more time. Okay.
So we have more time. But I also want to say hello to all you guys.
How are you doing, Paul? How was your day?
My day was okay.
Just okay? Bad weather?
Well, I don't know. Not nothing special.
Okay.
Nothing. Just okay. Okay day.
Wasn't bad.
Exactly. No. Ja. Hallo und herzlich willkommen auf jeden Fall an euch ganzen Zuschauer, to all the audience, to all our really, what is the English word? Loyal guys like Baloo, Uncle Charlie, Silent Raiders, Barracudas. Thanks to you guys and thanks to your support and that you always tune in at time. I know it's an unusual time, and post-season we might change again to a later time of the show, so everybody can watch it from home. Yeah, Frankfurt. We traveled there on Saturday night. It was again a comfortable travel. We slept in the buses, arrived there. I was impressed by the stadium. It's a cool, nice stadium. I think it's a perfect size and really close to the field. The spectators were close to the field, and Frankfurt built it up a nice pregame area there. I think it's a great environment, and you can see that Frankfurt has football tradition.
Oh yeah,
that
They knew what they were doing.
they know what they are doing. And
I got heckled.
You got what?
I got heckled. Which doesn't heckled. So it's like a fan addresses you personally.
Oh really?
Which doesn't happen often over here.
Yeah.
It's very common in the States, right?
very common.
And I got called a Schauspieler.
Oh yeah, there were some
actor.
Frankfurt.
An actor.
Okay.
So
There were some Frankfurt fans who were heated, and they called out guys. There were also some not so nice ones.
Schauspieler. Because I had a rushing touchdown after the low hit on me.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So he was like, basically,
Actor.
No, but there were like
I was not acting. It hurt. I don't know if you guys could tell, but it hurt.
intense fans. They have a hardcore fan scene maybe there, and there were some not so nice words. But hey, that's sports.
Schauspieler
right?
was not. That was okay. It made me
No,
laugh.
but there were some worst.
Yeah.
Worst.
That's the only one I heard, but it made me laugh.
And we also some. No, I don't say that.
On the field, there was much worse words.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but what happens on the field stays on the field.
Unless you have 4K cameras and microphones
And microphones.
and a live stream.
Guys, we will answer the questions later. Let's go into the game. No, this where we are. I have to change my things here. This is better. So, stats. Yeah, it was a loss for us, obviously, but we had a strong fourth quarter. And for the people who don't know, we won the direct match against them because we won the first game here in Innsbruck with 6 points, more than Frankfurt, and we lost by 3. So in the direct matchup, we are better, and that's why this fourth quarter was so important for us. We started pretty quick.
The first drive was good.
And then, we lost a little bit control of the game. They had some great plays. We're going to see them in a second in the highlights. Normally we watch the stats after we watch the highlights, right?
It's your world, Paul. I'm just living in it.
Doesn't really matter. But there were a lot of penalties. And there were a lot of penalties on this. Where are they? There are they. On Frankfurt's side. So they had 12 penalties for 117 yards, and in crucial moments.
Fourth quarter was clean. Unfortunately, the third quarter, they had much of their penalties, a lot of the personal fouls on defense, and we just weren't able to capitalize.
Yeah.
I think we stalled out in the red zone twice, which is something that we need to fix.
And there was one turnover, and maybe the most important one. It was in the last
Good for Arno.
drive from
Good for
Frankfurt.
us.
Arno had 2 big plays, 1 deflection, and then the interception. Great performance
And the
by
extra
Arnold
point.
Schwartz, and the extra point. So it was great game by him. And outside of that, again, second game in a row, I think Lucas Fink was leading receiver. Very important role player now, becoming with some ouchies from other receivers. And I think Walter Reiterer from Football Austria said it, or posted it, or tweeted it, or maybe somebody else. He said there was no Vikings or Raiders ELF game day MVP since now, which shows that there is no one individual star. It's more a collective of talent, which we mentioned a lot in the past, right? That we do not have this just one go-to guy, running back, receiver, whatever. We spread.
What's interesting to me is throughout the whole season, there hasn't been a single Viking talked about in any type of MVP race or Offensive Player of the Year, or maybe Schnorr a little bit for Defensive Player of the Year, but they kind of exemplify that with that success and not really being individually, and they've had a ton of injuries, which doesn't help.
Yeah, defensive wise, like we said, Arno with some two really important defensive plays.
Nick with 2 sacks is big too.
Now Jay, you had your first tackles. Last game you had 0. You had only the deflection, 6 deflections.
Yeah.
Now you had some tackles.
I'm up there.
Alrighty, then let's go into the highlights. I would say, June. Okay, opening kickoff. Stadium was packed, like you guys see. Opening kickoff. CJ with a nice return. Good block here, and then there was some room for him. He could give the kicker a little, like a little chip, right?
I think if it was later in the game, it would have happened.
Yeah. And then, yeah, a pretty fast and successful first drive of us. How did you felt?
I felt good. I mean, they came out and did everything that we thought they were going to do, but that doesn't mean it stays easy or successful, right? Like, against teams like them, you have to have high level execution for an extended period of time. We weren't able to do that. We had a lot of assignment errors on our side, especially in crucial moments like 3rd and short and 4th and short, and we just weren't able to keep this same level of execution.
Good body control here by CJ. Like running backwards, catching the ball.
Getting that first.
And then it all ended in this nice.
It was a great catch.
Yeah, it was a great catch, a great ball in that window. And there's some. Oh, Leica. Shout out to Bernhard Hirtnagel, if he's watching it. Yeah. So you guys can see here, there was some intense on the field.
Oh, yeah. Early and often, baby.
Yeah. Was it so intense between our defense and their offense as well? Because our offense and their defense was pretty intense the entire
To be honest, I don't get much
yeah, you're kind of removed from it.
Yeah, and if there's chirping going on, it's usually me. So I'm and then Reese Horn, very talented receiver, so we showed love right away, and so we kept it pretty classy.
Yeah.
I think that's his game too.
Pretty classy guy.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm pretty classy until I get
Great
going.
catch here by Regler.
It was a little bit of a push off.
Yeah, and then Tony, this one little look maybe.
Yep.
And Frankfurt was in the position to score, and they did it. Jacob Sullivan, I think, I was watching the game and I said, "Oh, a sack," and then he just ran away. He's pretty mobile, right?
Yeah,
and then
very much so.
there was sometimes a player already touching him, and he just still.
I appreciate his game because he's one of the few quarterbacks in Europe, and I think Zach Edwards is probably another one, where they're very comfortable. That should be a penalty.
That's his first touchdown this season.
No, he was just a fullback blocking the whole.
Yeah,
he didn't even score.
No.
He didn't even score it. The running back scored.
Oh well, we don't need that.
He knew where the camera was though.
Well.
But he's comfortable making plays from the pocket and can use his feet when the defense is giving it to him. And I think that's the trademark of a really successful quarterback, in my opinion. And guys who look to run too early aren't nearly as successful as a guy who can do that.
Yep, no, for sure.
And distribute the ball from the pocket.
Yeah.
And even though he's a little guy, he's comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of the best in Europe. It's a good thing he's in the ELF.
Yeah, like this. I was thinking
Exactly.
sack and a chicken. And it was a pretty fast first half in comparison to other games. The second half was then much, much longer. Long game in total, I think 3.5 hours again. And there was then another score by them. And we see here their rushing offense was quite successful, I think, right, against us, where we had our hands full to stop them. So play action, and what happened there?
Our linebackers seeing too much, I think, getting caught up in a lot of stuff going on.
And with the play action, right, and then
and then having them keep so much attention on the quarterback too. And some of the looks, they did a very good job of showing us things that we weren't familiar with. Not necessarily not familiar with, but didn't expect or didn't plan as well as we like. So because I think when they ran that again, they had pretty good success too. So just one of those things where we gotta go back to the drawing board and check it out. But you could tell with their motions and things, like when they saw something they liked, they came back to it, and they were able to recognize it fairly quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, then a field goal before halftime. And yeah, 7-16. I wasn't there at locker. How was the locker room in halftime?
We knew what we had to do.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't anything, no big rah-rahs or anything like that. You have to play better. It's pretty simple.
No, for sure.
I mean, at that level of football, because it was really, really good football. Obviously, it was chippy at times, and there was a lot of penalties, but it wasn't holdings, or I mean, there was a lot of holdings that weren't called, but there was a lot of extracurricular penalties, not sloppy football, right? And
Would you say it was high quality football?
I think for the most part. I mean, obviously, both teams probably want a handful of plays back from assignment errors and everything like that, but it was a lot of really good football players on the field playing really intensely.
I would agree.
Yeah, and there were a moment then in the third quarter where we were behind, I think 20 points or something.
23.
23 points.
The start of the fourth was
quarter.
36-13.
Yeah.
And difficult, but I was impressed by our sideline, by our guys. Everybody stayed calm, concentrated,
What a run.
and everybody was believing in. What a run, Sean. Nice.
What a run.
I can be fast when I want to be.
What'd you say to him?
I can't say it on the air.
I know what you said.
It wasn't just him. He unfortunately, he was the closest person.
No, but you addressed the whole team.
Yeah, it was very much not just him. That's for sure.
For sure. Everyone got a little glow up from Sean.
I had some opinions about what was happening.
Yo.
And then at this point, it was just kind of like, I think that's when we had our moment on the sideline.
Yep.
It was just kind of like, okay, this is where shit gets hard, and like,
Oh, for sure.
you got to keep just. At this point, it's like you can't even look at the scoreboard. You just got to go out there and play.
Absolutely.
And that's why I had a couple guys message me, like, congratulating me on, like, such poised play.
Yeah, for sure.
And something like that. It's like, well, at this point, when things aren't going your way to this extent, it's just taking it play by play and see where you end up in the fourth quarter.
Exactly.
Because to be honest, I was clueless about the whole situation in the fourth quarter. Like, I didn't celebrate that much when I threw that touchdown to Marco. Because, like, in my head, it's like, well, we're still down by 3. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, hey, let's just cover the spread, so to say. It was play by play by play, just try to execute as best you can, and hopefully, and especially at this point.
Yeah, 36-13. And then our time started a bit, and we took the chance. We didn't give up. And I think this, ended up in a successful way.
Just keep rolling.
That was all you can do.
Yeah.
Great play.
Great catch here by Lucas Fink.
It's shabby.
Oh, Shabba. Sorry.
I thought it was Fink too. Fink had a pretty good impressive day.
Fink had one of his better games ever, I think.
I was very impressed.
He just was where he was supposed to be, and when he caught it, he tried to do something with it, which is all we can ask for, right?
And he stepped out when his name was called.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know how rotation goes, but I feel like he's got a lot more rotation when with the injuries and things like that.
Absolutely. I mean, he's basically our Yannick, right? Like this guy who can stretch the field and a lot. And but he was doing a lot of intelligent play and smart play and taking space, and even that, it wasn't on the highlights, but even the play right before halftime where he ran a dig and then whipped it back out because he saw me coming back out. All that stuff takes a ton of experience. And I'm glad that it's coming to fruition with him, because he's been here for a long time, and we're going to need him immensely through the playoff stretch.
Yeah. Nice running back screen here. And defense also hold us in the game. And then there was this last drive here. And great effort by everybody.
But here, like, Kyle's starting to call like some outside zones and stuff like that, and I'm like, what are we doing? We got to score, and then we got to get an onside kick, and then we got to score again. So I was completely oblivious to the entire scenario.
Here was a game where
the mindset you have to be in.
This was a game where a lot of discussion happened. Maybe these lines on the field were confusing a bit. It was a first down by catch. That's also why we declined this penalty. Even if it wasn't a penalty, we would have the first down.
Correct.
And these TV lines are not correct. And
no, they were after watching the broadcast back, they were a little bit off the entire time.
Yeah.
Even here, they're a yard off.
Yeah.
If you watch the sticks.
Yeah. And then this great catch here by Marco Schneider.
And
Getting his feet down. Awesome.
That's big time.
And then, last drive, Frankfurt had to score. And then Arno Schwarz was right at the right place. And then people were complaining that he wasn't returning the ball. It shows me that people might not know so much about football. Because what would happen if you drop the ball there and it's a fumble return touchdown?
He did exactly what he was supposed to.
Yeah.
And that's why Tony went in front of him and was like, hey, get down, or you know what I mean? It's everybody kind of knew that at that point.
What we were trying to do there.
Yeah, exactly. At that point in the game.
Yes, let's go through the comments and questions a little bit. Balu, we will answer that later when we talk about the upcoming game. Paul, the shirts, die Coaches tragen, kann man die im Shop kaufen, wenn er online ist? No, that's teamwear. These are not for the fans, sorry. Carlis is a trash talker, we know that. Yeah, maybe. Schauspieler is not Schauspieler, just the perfect answer to that hit.
I thought so, but I could see their perspective too. But what I think people don't realize, things hurt and then the pain goes away and you're fine again.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make it not hurt at the beginning, right? Like
the two best receiver corps in the league, a lot of talented homegrown on both sides. Yeah. And they're talking about you getting season MVP, Sean.
I don't think so.
I'm not a Galaxy fan, but with all their difficulties this year, they showed the heart of a champion. Yeah, they were the champion last year, and they're a good football team.
They're a really good football team.
And then they are talented, and they have some players who play football for a long time. So, Uncle Charlie, had Kyle some stress with Coach Kessler because after the game he didn't handshake with Kyle, he just ignored him. And then they talked and then they smiled at each other, and I think everything.
I think it was a heat of the moment thing. They were also, him being a defensive guy, from what I understand, Kyle being the offensive guy, they're literally going against each other with their pawns on the field, right? So I don't know if there's any bad blood there. I think it's just more of a heat of the moment thing because they did the same thing here.
Yeah.
And
then they talk normally, and
sure, just again, if you held everything against somebody, what they do in or directly after a game, then it's probably not the most accurate judgment of their character.
Yeah. So we have 2-3 more minutes with Jay.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused when we went into the game.
Yeah, because I wanted also to talk with him about the Raiders and not only about, and I thought we might get everything in
Google Maps, real fast.
Really fast Google Maps? No, just in a couple of sentences, Jay. How do you like it here, and how would you say after playing college football, after playing pro football, after playing in Switzerland, and now here with the Raiders, how would you describe the level of the European League of Football, and how do you like it here in Innsbruck?
I like it.
Took Ellie's question.
I like it out here a lot. It's very competitive. Guys want to get better, and competition at every level, always, and there's talent all over the world. But what I really enjoy about here is just like the willingness to fight always. Like there's games like this. This was obviously a lot more incentive with this game, but I feel like some games it's like a blowout, and then like you can tell the energy of both, like certain teams or both teams just kind of goes down. But I hear a lot of people are doing this for fun. Like as fun as football is for people, everyone. There's people who work all day, go to practice afterwards, and this is literally like they do it solely out of fun. You can just see it like, yeah, and you can see it like you're playing some games, and you're just like, damn, this game's been over since the second quarter. Then these guys are lining up like, come on, or like they're excited to to have me guard them. They're like, oh wow, like let's go, like, oh, I'm gonna catch one of you, like shit like that. And I'm like, no, you will never. But I like the energy, and it just and I really like enjoy that about out here. and then the coaching staff and everyone, just the urgency to prove themselves and show what they're about, show what this league's about, show in so many different countries, show what their country's about, you know. So it's really cool to just see everything. And then the language also, it's nice to be embraced in the culture of it all.
Oh, do you trying to learn a little bit German?
No, I've tried to learn some, but at the same time, like, I'm not applying myself as much as I could in a sense, but it's just so
it's hard.
it's so difficult.
And football is an English environment all over the world because it's an American English-speaking sport, and it's
the language of the ELF is also English.
Yeah.
All refs speaking.
we even write English emails with the league office, even if there's German speakers.
Yeah.
So that's international.
So I do got Duolingo. I got that. I'll be on there every now and then, but I feel like the words I'm learning just like it's not gonna help me learn how to say milk in German.
Last minute with Jay. We stopped last week with your time at college and where you grow up in I forgot it.
North Dakota.
Memphis.
He
but then North Dakota when he was 13.
Exactly. And then you played college football
in
Dickinson, and we wanted to check out Dick
and Son.
Dickinson College or
Dickinson State, but yeah, it'll come out.
So again, a lot of straight lines. This is always.
Yep.
Oh, it's a bigger town than I expected.
Yo, not too much bigger.
No.
But it's always
Quit's going out so far. You lost it already.
So this is the only thing that really matters, right?
Oh, we forgot to share.
Okay. So there's the football field, and then the university.
The Red Devils.
Well, no.
I think you're in the wrong place, pal.
I am.
Have to be.
Dickinson.
You're in Pennsylvania.
Dickinson State.
I'm in Pennsylvania.
Yep. Now this is more.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the Dickinsons.
We upgraded a little bit. We got a hawk in the middle.
Oh wow.
And then the university is here.
Yeah. The campus.
Yep. So
did you live on campus?
No. Well, of course, the first year I did, and then I lived off campus, but it's very small, so I don't even think I ever left like this area.
Really? In 3 years?
Because I lived right by the campus in my apartment, and then.
Sean, your most important question about.
Ooh, you have a brewing company?
Yep, local brewing.
Okay.
What's it called? Fatfish.
Yeah, with PH.
Yo.
Oh, you got a Papa John's.
Oh yeah.
What about Food Riot? What's this?
It's a food stand, I believe.
Okay, King Buffet. You were there.
Never.
No, we can still see his abs. How's Mexican food in North Dakota? Probably not very good.
There is a Mexican place called El Sombrero. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish they were listening.
What people? Yeah, shout out. JD's Barbecue, shout out.
JD Barbecue is great.
What people in Europe might not realize, these are all just houses.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's an area that they just dedicated straight to. So this is a neighborhood in English.
Yep.
And all of them have backyards and fences, and these are all lots divided up. These have not been built on. Let's buy a couple. But this has got to be so foreign to a European. Do you have like residential areas like that?
It is also it's existing also. Okay. I lived in one.
Oh really?
Not that big, but where everything looks the same.
Commune.
No.
Okay.
No. Okay, we need a part 3.
Yeah.
Maybe postseason. Jay, after that you went to the Eagles. After that you went to Europe to Bern.
No, so it went.
And then I talk for you. And then you came to us, and that's it. And you're gonna play next Sunday against the Berlin Thunder.
Yep.
And let's hope we're gonna win that game, and maybe we do a part 3 with you.
Perfect.
It's time for you. Go to your meeting. I don't want to get Coach Lex.
Yeah, he'll probably be late. He said he was a little busy today, but thanks guys for having me.
Thanks.
See you later.
Ciao, guys.
Alrighty. Yeah, again. Stressful days at the Raiders Twitch studio.
Not a ton of free time.
No, not a lot of free time. So let's roll up the shirt because now the party starts. Yeah. Do we have some questions here? Sean's German.
German is useless in Tirol. True.
Oh, you had a German interview at the game.
Well, it was interesting because I don't like to speak German in that context, right? Because I want to say, well, it's football, and I want to say exactly what I want to say.
Because
right?
it's
because it's public, right? And it's
and you don't want to around, or maybe use the wrong word.
I speak in a very particular manner, and I choose words on purpose. So I said, let's just do it in English. And then he translated so he would ask me a question in English.
You answered
I'd
English?
answer, and then he would have to translate the question and then my answer.
Okay.
And it's like...
And then you said, hey, that's the German.
Yeah, exactly. So
but it was live, right?
I think so. And then the last two questions were in German.
Okay. Yes. Okay, we are completely out of order here. Now we go back a little bit again to that game.
To the game? Okay.
Because there were some, not confusions, but now this playoff picture looks a little bit clearer after that weekend. Yes, we lost the game, and yes, we were kind of happy because it was a loss with less than 6 points.
Correct.
Which kept us in the run for the playoff spot.
Yeah.
Because with a loss, the more than 6 points, we would have to hope that Frankfurt loses against Stuttgart next weekend.
So that was kind
wouldn't
of
be out of our own hands.
Exactly. So there was 3 outcomes for our purposes. We win, and we carry a 16-point advantage into Berlin. Because if they beat us, then they would have to beat us by 17 or more, because I think it was the point differential. So that was the plan, right? Is we give ourselves some cushion in Berlin. That would be the ideal scenario.
Yeah.
Second was lose, but closely, and we break the tiebreaker, and if we win in Berlin, we're in. But if we lose, we're out. So like a win and go home, or win or go home scenario. And if we would have lost, like you said, then we would need to win and Stuttgart beat Frankfurt.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't know if you can say happy, because I would be happy with a 16-point advantage this week, much like we had a 6-point advantage last week. But I guess satisfied in the fact that we still control our own destiny.
Yeah. And this brings us to the playoff picture, which is right now that we have to play against Hamburg in Hamburg, and the Barcelona Dragons have to travel to Vienna, because Hamburg is now on the first seat, Vienna second seat, which also could change.
Right. And then,
so
can you go back to that for a second?
Of course.
Where it says Barcelona's locked in the third seed. But we could, if they lose to Hamburg and we beat Berlin, we have the same record. So why is it locked that they're third seed? Because they won their conference?
Yes.
But I thought the wild card team could put, because theoretically we could be 9-2 and lost to the Vikings twice and be second in our conference, but have a better record than. I thought the wild card team wasn't fixed to 4, but I guess it is. Maybe the chat knows. Elias, you don't know who the MVP is, but maybe you know this answer.
But if Hamburg wins, they stay first.
Correct.
But if they lose and Vikings lose, they also stay first. If Vienna wins and Hamburg loses, then Vienna has the first seat. So we have to win that game. There is no other chance.
Correct.
But also, if Rheinfire wins their game, we would have the same record as the best two seeds from conferences. But our point differential is 162, and Rheinfire's is 35.
Correct.
So they have to win with more than 130, 40, 50 points.
They would have to score 130 to make up the ground, and then
plus what we might score against Berlin.
Exactly.
Which maybe never happened in adult football, that it was more than 100 points.
It would be tough. It would be really tough.
So, technically still possible, but only on paper maybe.
I don't know if
only if we win the game. If we lose that game, then Frankfurt is in. But then also they have to win the tiebreaker against Berlin and Rheinfire. Frankfurt has 115, Berlin plus 66, and Rheinfire 35, which also. So in the scenario we lose and we lose, then Frankfurt would be in. Because they would have won then the direct match up by record against us. We would then go down on the third spot in our conference.
They would have a better record than us.
And then same with Berlin, they have to win against us. Frankfurt has to lose to Stuttgart, and Rheinfire has to lose to Leipzig.
There's another
or
option.
Win versus Raiders, and I can't see it. I don't want to log into Facebook.
Okay.
But not really our topic. Our topic is that we have it in our hands.
Exactly.
The Raiders always played fourth quarter last play with shoe on, but this season you did not play one game this way. You always break in for 1 or 2 quarters. Why could you not keep up the potential the Raiders have for 4 quarters? Sure.
Fourth quarter last play does not mean you play to your potential for four quarters. Fourth quarter last play is something Schuhan instilled, and it means you fight until the very last play. And you play as hard as you can until there's no time on the clock. We had plenty of games under Schuhan where we had our ups and downs and had to come back. I mean, look at Kalanda 2019. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody would say that we played to our potential for 4 quarters. But we played until the fourth quarter last play, and we ended up winning that game. And we played till the fourth quarter last play this game. Sunday, and so I think that's a really good example of the culture that, Schuhan built for over, for a decade or so.
And playing fourth quarter full go football against teams like Frankfurt, Vienna,
and that's what I was about to say. The competition is different. So, even if you're playing teams like Cologne or Stuttgart, where we've kind of took our foot off the grass, and we talked about this in the show before, it's because they're really good. Don't let the score or the record indicate the quality of football being played or the types of players on the field. If you don't execute well, everybody in the league is going to stop you. Mm-hmm. That's why Stuttgart has had really close games again. Should have beat Frankfurt. Mm-hmm. Wroclaw almost beat Frankfurt, right? Like, it's not a league where you can play 90% of your potential, but it's really, really difficult to play 100% of your potential the entire game. And so I don't know if it's 100% a culture issue. It's really difficult to do against really good football teams.
Yeah.
Because I want to stress that Stuttgart, although what's happening to them, I think it's more of an emotional thing that's happening to them. The quality of football, like Stuttgart in the AFL would be a semifinalist team for sure. I mean, obviously with the import rules and everything like that, but it's still really good football is my point. Yeah. So they have coaches and they take things away too.
You described this really good. And the fourth quarter last play thing was last Sunday.
Yeah.
We didn't give up. We played till the fourth quarter. We scored. And
no, I think it was the essence, and we didn't win, but it's the essence of fourth quarter last play that, being down 23 in the fourth quarter, we didn't give up.
Yeah. Baloo is saying he heard rumors that there are teams who like more to play against the Dragons than against Raiders or Galaxy. So maybe the Sea Devils and the Vikings will not play full gas. That's again something we had a couple of weeks ago when people were saying the Vikings lost by purpose against Frankfurt, which I think is absolutely not realistic that these things are happening. Because why would Vienna not want to play against us? They beat us twice, one time at their house really high and in an impressive way.
They beat us worse at home than they've beaten the Dragons both times.
Yeah.
And they
lost almost against the Dragons in Barcelona.
And even this was a close game. Yeah. I mean, the play that they didn't down the receiver and he ran for 95. Yeah. I mean, Barcelona's played them really, really tight. So I don't know if that's the case. And I think what I would say to that is you don't want to ruin any type of momentum you have. Maybe if you have a player that's banged up, you sit that player knowing you have a home semifinal game no matter what. But to play your guys and intentionally lose, I think there's you're dealing with people, right? You're dealing with teams of 70 people or so. If you have momentum is the strongest thing in the world, and a culture is the strongest thing in the world. And you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't purposely lose your last game before your most important game of the season the week after.
This is what Silent Raider says. You don't want to go with a loss in the playoffs.
Exactly. Just to get a more desirable opponent, because it's going to be a good football team no matter what. I think if you prefer us or if you prefer the Dragons, you're going to get a tough opponent no matter what. So I don't know. I would be shocked if a team
loses by purpose
would do that. It just doesn't make sense.
No.
And it's against a competitive nature.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions about the last game from you guys? Any comments? Do you want to know anything? Do you have anything to say? If not, we would move on to the upcoming game.
Sure.
Berlin Thunder. Our longest trip this year. We are going to travel to Berlin on Saturday. And the Berlin Thunder. I want to start that I had... Did I play in that stadium? Yes, I played there once. But my most enjoyable memory about that stadium is that my loved soccer club played there in relegation game to go from 4th league to 3rd league. Maybe it was 22 years ago, and they won. And I entered the field, and in the garden of my parents there is still a part of that grass field. You know, we cut it out because it was an historic day for my soccer team.
So
I was there as a fan.
So you guys went to an opposing team's field and
we won it,
cut out the holes in
after
the
the
grass?
game. After the game.
Yeah, but nevertheless.
Yeah, the season was over. We cut it out. Even people took from the soccer net. You know, they cut it out.
As somebody
As a souvenir.
somebody who's worked in game day management.
I was 14, 15 years old.
But
like I said, it's over 20 years ago.
Could you imagine Stans rushing the field in Tivoli and cutting out? You know how much trouble we would be in?
You know what NFL teams are doing? They're selling that field then.
Oh, sure.
Or parts of the goalpost or
But
things.
There's in the States, I don't think rushing the field is really an option in NFL games like maybe it is over here.
Okay, Balu. Yeah, he said maybe not losing by purpose, but maybe not investing everything. Maybe
I think if
leaving players who are a little bit injured
if you have beat up guys, it makes sense to rest them in that scenario. But whoever you put on the field, and if a guy's healthy, you're not benching him either. You know, if they're not resting Erdmann if he's healthy.
No.
Because I think that sends the wrong message.
Okay, Berlin. That was my little soccer memory about the Berlin Stadium.
You vandalized the stadium. Cool.
Friedrich Ludwig Jahn Sportpark, I think is the name of
what
the stadium.
What a name. Really?
I think it's Friedrich. Is it Friedrich or just Ludwig Jahn? No, it's Friedrich Ludwig Jahn Sportpark.
That is the German...
Ludwig Sportpark. Yeah. In the middle of Berlin.
The best.
And
you don't get more German than Friedrich Ludwig Jahn Sports Park.
And it's an old stadium. It's in the eastern part of Berlin, and it was a big soccer stadium in the past, and now Berlin Thunder's playing there. Even the NFL Europe Berlin Thunder played there. So it has an historic football stadium, and also the Berlin Adler played there. So a lot of football games played there. Sean, Berlin, we played them already here in Innsbruck. We won that game. It was week 4, 5, something.
I think it was our first win, or? I think we were 0-2.
Yeah,
they were 1-1.
Probably, yeah. But now, long season. Somebody mentioned already. Dominique Shelton moved there, so roster changed.
Feels like forever ago.
Exactly. But what can we expect? What do you think? I mean, it's a do or die scenario, but how it's going to be?
It's going to be a playoff game.
Yeah.
And I feel like a broken record, but they're a really good football team.
Yeah.
Like everybody else in this league, particularly teams that are competing for playoff spots. Defensively, they're really strong in the box.
They probably have the best defensive lineman of the league.
Yeah, I mean he's an MVP candidate as a DN / D tackle, which so no, he's a single-handedly an issue, and he can really mess things up, which obviously he has to be accounted for, and but he's not surrounded by nobodies either. And now that Nichts there helps them in the secondary a little bit. You know, Stanley, their opposite defensive end, had a good game against us last time. The middle linebacker's a good player.
A lot of talent again.
Yeah, and then on the offensive side of the ball, the quarterback's coming along. Jack Crawford's been one of the best running backs in Europe for a long time. They have a receiver that seems to make highlight plays all the time. You know, that somebody mentioned earlier is going to be a great matchup between, you know, probably Jay and him. It's not going to be a walk in the park, that's for sure.
Absolutely not.
And we have to play like it's playoff football. We can't do what we did last week and dig ourselves a hole and try to get ourselves out of it. We just have to play better. I mean, there's not a lot to it. Our assignment, we weren't great, you know, on the offense and defense side of the ball. And we just have a lot to clean up if we're going to play to our potential.
Yeah, and it's like, it's in our hands. This whole season is the continuing of the season. It's in our hands. And I think if we play mistake-free, and back to our how we say, main points, what we always mentioned when we talked about the games, we have less penalties, less turnovers. I mean, this is football, right? Less penalties, less turnovers, and you play your game, then you are in a good situation to win a football game, and we have to do that, and we can't hope that whatever Frankfurt loses against Stuttgart or all these other scenarios. It's we gonna travel there. We're gonna. Often people say it's business. Yes, it's business. It's only that game, because if you lose, season's over, and nobody wants that. We want to continue. We want to go to semis, and if we win, then we go to the final, and it's all in our hands. And I think we have to concentrate on us and less on outside or others.
No, 100%. And I think we're in a little bit of uncharted waters as an organization. We had never played a regular season game since I've been here like that last game. It's like so much was on you know, there was so much at stake. There was such an intense environment. That was a championship game. That was an AFL. That was an Austrian Bowl we played last Sunday, and we have another Austrian Bowl this weekend. And I think that's uncharted territory for us, that we have to, you know, prepare at such a high level and consistently execute at such a high level, even in the regular season, just to get into the playoffs. I mean, we've never had that since I've been a Raider, and probably not in Austria, because Austria was always pretty, you know, liberal with who they let in the playoffs and how many teams. You know,
or the.
I mean, 30% of this league, 33% of this league makes the playoffs.
First of all, that, and then let's say there were always 2, 3, or sometimes maybe 4 teams who were close to each other, and there was
there were big tiers,
big tiers and gaps between the strength of the teams, and that's why.
But this whole situation would be different if 6 teams made the playoffs.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Right? Yeah.
But the fact that it's 4 teams and you have 7 teams in this league vying for 4 playoff spots, every game is so. And we have a young team, and we have a team that hasn't experienced that, and we have a team that's never experienced an atmosphere like Frankfurt. And so I think it was a really good learning experience that, hey, this is what it is for the rest of the time. Hamburg's going to be no different. Vienna was no different, right? That's a playoff atmosphere. They play like it's all or nothing. And so, I think it's a new experience for us a little bit as an organization, that we're playing ourselves into the playoffs. That would be unheard of in the AFL.
Absolutely. And we still can be proud to be in that position, because
7-4 in this league is really
it's
good.
Not bad. Yeah, because really also sometimes we have to explain it internally or to the press here in Tyrol or Austria. Yeah, we were pretty successful in the past, but because of this lack of strength in the Austrian league, maybe it was normal that the Raiders are in the playoffs. There were years where we didn't win the Austrian Bowl, but we were always in the playoffs. And now we are in a situation, an environment with a lot of good teams, and not only 2, 3, or 4. Right. They are, like you said, 7, and even the teams like Stuttgart or
can beat
Leipzig
you if you don't show up.
Exactly. So this is a learning process for our team, for our older guys, for our organization, for our management and everything. And we still are really happy that we are in the driver's seat. We can decide how the season ends, and this is
in this league.
This is how we approach that game.
If we finish 8-4 and make the playoffs, you can look back at that year and say, "Hey, we won. What would it be? 66% of our games in our first year in a professional football league.
Yeah.
That's something to be proud of.
Yeah.
And then as long as you make the playoffs, doesn't matter anymore. Everybody's 0-0. It doesn't matter, right? But it's like, this is what people are asking for. This is what we wanted, right? This is what our fans wanted. Every game matters. Every game we could lose, right? Every game's competitive, even if at times it's not, right? And you can't get parity and high competition in good football games
at the same time.
And on the other hand, it's like, well, why? Let's book our tickets to Klagenfurt in March. It doesn't work that way. And so this is what we've asked for. Absolutely. And now we just got to do it.
Exactly. Question to Berlin. Balu, I will not be in Berlin. Then...
Excuse me, Paul.
Most German name ever, yeah.
It is.
You travel by bus to Berlin? Yes, we're going to travel in nightliners to Berlin.
I think you skipped the Nick question. Do you know what
I mean? Nick has been moved to Berlin. Do you think Thunder can take advantage of his inside view he obviously has got of the Raiders? Yes, of course, he knows us. We know him. He knows our talent. Maybe he practiced with everybody. How much of an advantage it could be, I don't know. Of course, he do not have any playbooks or something. Game plans are changing. Calls are changing. Maybe he knows a little bit about certain players where he can say that's his strengths. That's there he is maybe weak. But at the end, he is part of an 11-man strong defense. So he also can only, in his case, cover one guy. And it's hard to say.
I think it's hard. He definitely knows us, right? But I think it's hard to translate that onto the field. It was the same question we got with AJ in Leipzig, right? And obviously AJ is comfortable with us and knows us, but it doesn't always necessarily translate. And I think you touched on a good point. Game plans change from week to week, and we don't do the same things offensively. We're not even signaling the plays anymore. Everything. When every game plan really matters and you have to build a game plan like it's a playoff game every week. I was talking to Kyle last week and talking about the stuff we were doing in camp, and it's a completely different offense. So
we will see.
I think it's tough.
And in football, the plays are so quick. I don't know. In the Thunder podcast, Sammy said he hopes that the long trips are a little bit of an advantage for the Thunder. He said 3 of the 4 losses of the Raiders were on the road. Playing away, obviously, it's more difficult. You are not in your environment. You are not at home. You don't have your fans, or not that many of your home fans, like at the home games, and especially in Frankfurt. I mean, Frankfurt fans are crazy loud. I mean, it was maybe the loudest game I ever experienced, at least from the sideline.
It was pretty loud.
It was super loud, and they were super hyped, and of course that can interrupt your concentration. And if you can travel concentrated to a game and stay in a rhythm and have an okay preparation, then you should be fine. And it's like in every sport, playing away is always harder than playing at home, right?
Playing away is most certainly harder because, like you said, you're not in your everyday element. But also, teams in this league play much better at home. You can ask Cologne, you can ask Vienna, you can ask Frankfurt. It's a noticeable difference in teams' performances at home than away, and I bet teams probably think the same thing about us when we play in Tivoli. So that's also a factor. It's just you play better in front of your home fans.
Beat the street buses again. Yes, they look awesome. Yes, and they are awesome. It's a really big thing for us because we can travel through the night. Our guys can sleep, and We also travel back, obviously, by them, so our guys can sleep on the way back and don't sit like this.
Makes life a lot easier.
Makes life a lot of easier, and also it's an important, because the weeks are a little bit shorter with games on Sundays and travels on Saturdays, so the little more rest on the way back to Innsbruck helps also for recovering, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's not your bed where you can like have 2 meters and can stretch out,
yeah.
but you wake up, had a couple of hours good sleep, and you don't feel shit.
No, exactly. I got 5.5 hours of sleep on the way back from Frankfurt. Almost slept the whole way, and then I didn't fall back asleep until, and I took a midday nap with Valentina, and then took a normal night of sleep, and I felt good again on Tuesday. So, which is far different than even shorter trips like Stuttgart or Vienna, where we took normal buses.
Yeah. Okay.
Berlin. Baloo asked a question. I can answer it.
Or if it's decided if you're going to play or not, and if when.
No, nothing's decided. I mean, when you're in the middle of a season, you don't have a lot of time to think of anything else. I'm really enjoying playing in the ELF. It's been a positive, awesome experience for me, and want to finish it the right way, and then we'll figure everything else out later. But no
decision yet. Too early.
It's always nice to unwind a little bit after season and reevaluate some things. And it's a family decision. It's not just what I want to do. It's every time I play a season, it puts a lot of stress on my wife. And there's a lot more that goes into it than just wanting to play. Because I would want to play until I'm 52. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. We hope that we're going to see a lot of fans in Berlin, a lot of Raiders fans. Make some noise. There were a couple in Frankfurt. Awesome. You guys were awesome. It was really great to shake hands with you guys after the game and to show the Tyrolean proudness. It was cool. Because like I said, some Frankfurt fans were not the nicest.
Schauspieler. I really laughed. It was...
That's a nice name from Baloo. Sean Brady.
Sean Brady. If I look like him when I'm 45 or whatever it is, he gets younger. Does he do something?
Yeah, probably some help. Or maybe it's just his...
I don't work with his budget, nor do I have his discipline and diet.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Let's come to Berlin. Let's come to Berlin and support us. And... Oh, Barakus, you did some research. Aaron Nokale and Felix Natwa were supposed to play this year. Yeah, some private things of these two players didn't work out, and that's why they weren't on the roster when season started. I think they were still listed somewhere on the ELF roster on the page.
Yeah,
because we announced in preseason, and like other players, we were hoping to get, or which we get them later and were a special add-on, but there were nothing special with these two.
No, and I think even with Felix, it was a where does he fall in question mark with the league, because he's Austrian but started playing in the States, so there was some question marks there.
He started actually in France.
Oh, okay.
But there were some.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and since spots are limited, and it depends on where you started.
Well, it wasn't our anticipation. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes in this league that I think people don't realize, particularly in roster management, that can be quite complicated.
Exactly. Good. Playlist. Sean, your song of the day.
DRE.
DR what?
DRE.
D.
Mm-hmm.
R.
By Dr.
Dre.
Yeah.
Huh.
Is the song called DRE? No, it's not. Forgot about it. I think it's Dre Day.
Still Dre.
Still Dre. Yeah.
Dre
Day might have been the album. No, it's the Chronic.
And I take. I have to think about it. You are now much faster than
I didn't prepare it. That was just what was on my heart.
Yeah, that's good.
Shout out DJ Fu.
Oh yeah, I take
I think DJ Fu, you would probably not like most of my choices, but I'm happy you like that one. And Vincent will be back for
I take from Kraftklub, which is a band from Saxony, from Chemnitz, former Karl-Marx-Stadt. And they have a song, Ich will nicht nach Berlin.
Okay. And the streak continues.
In the what?
And the streak continues of songs that I don't know a single song you've ever picked. I can almost guarantee that. One day I'm gonna pull up this Spotify playlist
and listen to my song. You know what the that's maybe really bad what I say now, but I say it.
Sure.
The difference when it comes to music between us two, you listen to charts and radio, and I listen to music.
No. To a certain extent, yes. But most of what I listen to in my private life is not what I pick here.
Why not?
Because what I pick here...
Here's our playlist. Check it out.
Oftentimes has a story behind it or how I think about something at the moment.
Yeah, but this is what
the last time I didn't even know Dre Day, or the Still Dre, Still DRE. But that song was on the heart because I was like, hey, had a good fourth quarter, still got it. But it's not on my favorites playlist. I listen to a ton of acoustic music, which isn't really appropriate for this playlist.
Why not?
I don't think a lot of people like acoustic music. I don't think it's very popular music.
But
or R&B or soul or...
But that's... Yeah, why not? You should pick... All my songs I pick have a personal...
Mine have a personal connection too, but it's not what I listen to every day. When I plug in the car, I don't listen to Anton aus Tirol. It's a special moment.
Yeah. No, but then... Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got it. But I would love to have some acoustic music or maybe some jazz. This playlist is so...
Okay, I'll add some of personal favorites next time.
Yeah. Listen to it on your way to Berlin. You have enough time there. That's true. It's 6 hours and 46 minutes.
Just put it on the Beat the Street bus all over the speakers and everybody has to listen to it. And then on the way home, it would be good. And then you have to guess who put it on.
Who put it on. That's true.
That's it. Very obvious.
That's it for today. I'm 100% sure that next Wednesday will not be our last in-season show. I'm 100% sure that our team, our coaches, and everybody who is part of the team on Sunday in Berlin will do their best to do so. And we will see us again next week with a win. And then it's on to the playoffs.
That's the plan.
And the pre-playoffs are happening this Sunday at Friedrich Ludwig Jahn Sportpark in Berlin.
Yeah, it's really the quarterfinals for us at least.
Thanks for watching. It was nice, and enjoy your week. Tune in on Sunday. Support us. If you have the chance, come to Berlin. And then, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Last words.
Exciting times.
Exciting times. Go Raiders. Ciao, Kakao. Bis bald. Vier Reich.